How many no's did you get before you got to your first yes?
We probably talked to about 150, we say. 150, yeah, but I do keep a list.
What is your revenue now? You guys have been around for a little over a year. What have you done this year?
Yeah, so our monthly revenue is about 600K, just the ARR is 7.2 million or 7.5 million right now.
Okay. A little bit about who you are, what you're doing, and how you got here.
Okay, cool. My name is Daniel. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Yotta Labs. Before Yotta Labs, I actually started my career as a GPU engineer at Sony US Research Center because I did my PhD in GPU computing. I started programming NVIDIA GPU back in 2011. That was a couple of years before people were successfully able to train the convolutional neural network even on GPU.
Yeah.
After my time at Sony, I joined Facebook and working on a whole bunch of things, including Cafe 2, and later on moved to ads, and then later on working on privacy-preserving technologies to support both ads and open research and also election. After Facebook joined a startup working on avatar tool, avatar ecosystem, and also NFT marketplace.
Okay.
And then after that, I want to go a little bit deeper since I in the blockchain space.
Yeah.
So I joined the Chainlink Lab, and I was leading the CCIP team there, cross-chain interoperability protocol team. So we built the product, expand the team and the product, and now like I'm on a new journey and go back to the GPU space. So I'm quite excited.
You've had quite a varied journey through GPU programming, which is AI stuff, Cafe 2, right, and Web3, and so now you guys are doing a new startup. And what does your startup do?
Yotta Lab is an infrastructure company where we're focusing on solving two emergent challenges.
Okay.
One is the efficiency challenges.
Okay.
The second is the interoperability challenges. I'm going to explain that.
Interpretability challenges.
Interoperability.
Yes, okay, yes, it's a long word.
Interoperability.
Yeah.
So for efficiency, I think when the AI model and workloads are transferring from pre-training to more and more like deployment.
Yeah.
People start paying more attention to the unit economics of each of the inference.
Yeah, definitely.
So you can convince yourself or your investor that you can actually spend maybe 5 million to train a model, and maybe you can actually make 50 million once you deploy that.
Yeah.
But what if like your model is huge and you are losing money for each of the inference when you're actually serving the customer? You may actually need to pay like $2 for the GPU, but you can only make like $1 out of that.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, like a lot of customers, they are actually paying to attention of how they can actually leverage different technology and infrastructure improvement to basically optimize their inference and as well as training workloads, so that they could actually be able to actually run their workload more efficiently.
Yeah.
So that's like the efficiency challenge. The second part we're working on is interoperability, where we focus on two levels. One level is at the cloud level.
Clouds?
Yeah, clouds, yeah. There are so many like hyperscaler and new clouds where they both have GPU.
Yeah.
And many of the company, because GPU are so expensive and scarce, many of the company, they even actually also have, they also typically have the GPU deployed in their own data center or server room.
Okay.
So the whole, like the GPU footprint are actually quite fragmented.
Okay.
We think the industry needing a company that's focusing on building the tool that allow people to manage the GPUs across different region, different cloud more efficiently.
Okay.
So that's like so the goal of that is like we trying to actually break the walled garden across different clouds and also help customer to do hybrid cloud that where part of the GPU resources are actually in-house, part of actually on the cloud.
Isn't hybrid cloud already a thing?
But when it comes to actually GPU, it actually comes to actually new challenges. How you actually minimize the communication overhead, how you can actually
that's like
enable.
a huge thing with like the map
It depends
stuff
on the training, and also there's actually many different types of GPU.
Yeah.
So how you can actually leverage those hybrid GPU architecture is also another technical challenges.
Okay.
So the ultimate goal for us at the cloud level is to basically enable like the multi-cloud elasticity and also interoperability. So that you can actually have one deployment on any cloud provider at any scale. Okay. So that's the goal. The second part of the interoperability was at the chip level. Okay. Right now, like NVIDIA is still like dominating the
Yes,
market.
yes.
But we have seen like quite a couple of news
Yes.
that AMD signed with IBM,
Yes.
with OpenAI, another company that
Yeah.
they are going to like build like large cluster leveraging AMD GPU. And then there's also a couple of other AI accelerator that are getting more and more popular.
Yeah.
One is like Grok and the Cerebras.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Not
yeah.
mention like there's a whole bunch of other AI.
Nova,
Yeah, yeah.
Torrent. Yeah.
Yeah, so our goal is became the middleware that be able to leveraging those hardware more efficiently,
Okay.
which including developing the customized kernel, high performance library,
Yeah.
where actually that NVIDIA has been done that for more than a decade
Yeah.
to build their, the so-called CUDA mode.
Yep, the CUDA
So
stuff.
yeah, we want to actually leverage the expertise we had like in high performance computing to basically help those AI chip company to be able to actually migrate the workload and be able to allow the customer to run the workload on those chips more efficiently.
Right. Right. Does the work that you did with Web3 play a role into this, or how does that fit in?
I'm a big fan of Web3 and blockchain technology and decentralization.
Yeah.
I think nowadays, like when we're talking about AI data center,
Yeah.
AI workloads,
Yeah.
very often like we focus on like how large the data center is.
Okay.
Like that's why like AWS and many companies they're building like a gigawatts of data center.
Yeah.
But I think to me, I think decentralization in the context of AI means that how we can actually optimize the workload so
Okay.
that we can run larger model on
Yeah.
cheaper device.
Okay.
How we can actually leverage those geoly distributed machine and the schedule workload on them very efficiently.
Yeah.
So all this technology is actually ultimately serving the goal that we want to democratize access to the advanced AI infrastructure for everyone.
Okay.
So I think that's actually fully aligned. For blockchain, I think there's also other aspect, including verifiability,
Sure.
and there's also a very good way to incentivize the community building.
Yeah.
I think for verifiability, like right now, like even it's not a very urgent case, but in the future, like people will soon realize like we want to make sure like each inference is
Yeah.
deterministic
Yeah.
and then can be verified for some mission critical use cases in
Sure.
finance, health.
Yeah.
And then besides that, I think how the industry has been exploring like how we can leverage the blockchain and the Web3 to build the community so that people can contribute the idle compute resources.
Yeah.
So that's also another very interesting topic that we are about to explore
Okay.
over the year.
How much money did you raise?
Yeah, we raised about 3.5 mil from the venture capital.
Yeah.
We also actually submit a proposal and
Yeah.
was funded by National Science Foundation.
Yeah.
The proposal is about the decentralized AI computing operating system.
Okay.
For that grant, it was 300K.
Yeah. Let's take us through your journey. How long did it take? How many people did you have to talk to? How many no's did you get before you got to your first yes?
We probably talked to about 150
150?
VC.
Okay.
150, yeah, but I do keep a list. So yeah, we talked to a lot, both actually in Web 2 and Web 3.
Yeah.
Another part of the question is like how many no's before
Yeah.
I get a yes?
Yeah.
It's very interesting because how quickly you can actually raise money is also heavily impacted
Yeah.
by the overall like market, like especially like the macro feeling from VC.
Yeah.
We actually got a yes fairly quickly for small checks.
Okay.
And so that's like how we actually formed like two small VC, and each of them wrote about 100K to
Yeah.
200K check. Like
Okay.
we get two small check
Yeah.
last year.
Okay.
But then
last year?
Last year, yeah.
Okay.
And then after that, like for 3-5 months,
Yeah.
I think it's because mainly because of the market.
Yeah, yeah, the
like it's
macro
quite challenging
part, yeah.
to actually get the funding from VC, and especially funding like the lead investor.
Okay.
But we were lucky, like in the beginning of this year, in April, like we closed our round. So we found the first, the lead investor was interested in putting like 3 million
Yeah.
or 2.5.
Yeah.
And then another VC like who happens to look at like one of my interview at one of the event in Hong Kong.
Okay.
And then he actually reached out. So yeah, he actually reached out. And then because I really like the VC,
Yeah.
so I actually talked to the first one to say like maybe you can invest less because
Yeah.
because we don't actually want to be oversubscribed.
Right.
So co-lead by those two VCs.
Okay. Were there any VCs that you said no to?
Yes, absolutely.
This is great. Okay, so why?
In one of classes I took at Stanford,
Yeah.
one quote that mentioned by the professor really resonated with me.
Yeah.
He basically told us money from every VC is the same, and you need another reason to take the money.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah.
Every check looks the same.
Sure.
But you need another reason. That's also my advice, early stage startup.
Yeah.
And only take money that you feel that the VC's long-term vision is actually aligned with you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to have tons of headache. So in the future.
Okay. But like, what was their long-term vision different from yours? Is that why you didn't take money from them?
Yeah, it's very different. For different reasons, some of the VC, especially like in Web3, the only thing they care is like when TGE and
TGE?
like token generation events.
Ah.
So when you're going to issue a token and getting listed in the exchange, so they can actually cash out. That's like one reason like we reject some of the VC. We feel like they care less about the vision of the team and the direction of the product. They care more about when you're going to issue the token. And then there's also some VC that we rejected because we feel like they don't quite understand the field.
Yeah.
And that they were not able to actually provide enough support like when we want to continue to grow.
Yeah.
Those have been the two major reasons for us to reject VCs.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. You guys were able to raise money. You were able to raise enough money that you were able to reject quite a few VCs, it sounds like. When did you guys get your first sale?
It's actually back in May. Okay. Yeah, in May. Like previously, like we built a platform.
Yeah.
So there were some small like developer community.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's like a couple of hundreds, a couple of thousand per month.
Yeah.
The big sale like to the enterprise was actually in May.
Okay.
Like one of the customer, they like our product, the software, and also the infrastructure we built.
Yeah.
So they decided to actually sign the deal with us and then deploy their production workloads on our infrastructure.
Okay. Can you tell us how big your deal sizes are?
You mean the first deal?
Or, I mean, how big are they now on average?
Oh, it was a contract for like 6 nodes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a long-term contract for 6 nodes.
Okay.
And I think it was about 18K per month.
Okay. Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I think now they are spending about 100K per month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And we are actually also helping them to optimize the workloads and continue like sourcing the capacity for them. They recently actually also had a lot of growth in terms of their customer. They have like 2C business and also 2B business.
Nice.
So their business is actually growing quickly. So like maybe in three months, like they are going to double the traffic.
Okay.
So they're probably going to double the spending.
They'll spend more money with you. That's great. Okay.
Yeah.
Have there been any customers that you have turned away?
We typically don't reject customer. But especially at the beginning, but now like we start actually trying to stay a little bit more focused because when you are building infrastructure, there are customers like who are looking for just actually bare metal machine.
Yeah.
Like they don't need your software at all.
Yeah.
Some of them have like very picky requirements and would want you to be able to do the customization.
Yeah.
So I think we would actually prefer to actually stick to our roadmap so that we can actually focus on polishing and improving our software. And also for any of the requests from the customer, we are trying to prioritize to only develop the feature that the customers are willing to pay, and also we feel like that feature will be actually needed by other customers. Yeah.
Who are the types of people that you try to sell to now?
Yeah, at the moment we are actually trying to sell our solution and also our cloud business to AI startup. Ideally, like any startup that who needs GPU to do the R&D and do the production deployment, like hosting their own model, or any startup that who have the needs to basically help to optimize both training and inference are our potential customer.
Are there any customers that you have that you particularly like?
Yeah, there's a certain like vector that we're actually quite bullish about.
Yeah.
One very interesting vertical.
Yeah.
AI generated content.
AI generated content.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, like any of the AI company that in that space, like building the model or the tool.
Oh, like Flipbook.
So like how like helping modifying the image, generating the image. Like many of them actually needs to actually host their own model, and they actually have a lot of computational intensive application.
Yeah.
And also like they are working on very like creative things by generating cool like short video. Yeah, that's actually one of the vertical that we are actually really like for the customer. Okay. The second is actually the physical AI. Physical AI, yeah.
Like robots.
Robots, building the model for robots, and also the world model. They're actually doing really cool stuff. by combining the algorithm with actually the when they're actually building the model, they need to consider like the real world interaction.
Yeah.
That's also very cool. For that type of company, like we're mostly helping them to build the training solution and optimize the software stack so that they can run training more efficiently.
Okay. Okay. How do you feel about like the general like AI like GPU market? There's a lot of AI startups, and a lot of them are dying very quickly. How do you feel about the general market?
Quite crowded overall.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of company. They are working on more or less similar problem.
Yeah.
The reason why there's so many company working on similar problem, like one reason was definitely like because there's so much money from VC.
Yeah, yeah.
And when you get money from VC, like why don't you just actually like build something that looks cool and also attractive to VC?
Yeah.
I think the key is that find your unique leverage and your unique product market fit, and build a product that is solving maybe like just the one problem, but that problem is needed by everyone. I think that's a key is like how to actually differentiate yourself as a competitor.
What is your unique leverage point? Like, why wouldn't I go to like AWS or whatever to get GPUs?
Yeah. So first and foremost, like we want to be a software company.
Okay.
So when people think we are AWS, we always try to explain to them that what we are trying to do is Snowflake.
Snowflake.
Yeah. So we build a software solution that can optimize your overall AI workload, and more importantly, help you to be able to cross cloud.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're mainly actually focusing on how we can building the software solution. And again, like you can actually make a lot of money by building the data center, focusing on the actually hardware infrastructure.
Yeah.
But that's not our team's expertise.
Okay.
And also, I feel like in general, like software focusing on software solution is more scalable and in general have a slightly high gross margin.
Let's pretend I'm an AI company. At what stage would I come to you guys? Like, you're doing an AI company, you go to AWS, you go to GCP, you go to Azure, they're like, here's $100,000 in credits.
Yeah.
Like, at what point does it make sense for them to be like, all right, forget the credits, we're going to go and work with Yotta Labs?
My suggestion is like, do not actually forget the credits. Leverage, like that's what leverage the credits from AWS and GCP.
Yeah.
But the challenge is that it's hard to get the enough GPU quota on GCP and AWS. Like majority of the quota are actually reserved for enterprise user.
Right. Yeah.
And also like their GPUs are actually quite expensive.
Yes.
So when many of the customers like they start feel the pain to pay the GPU bill on AWS or GCP after their credits running out.
Yeah.
So they start actually talking to different neo clouds. Our current stage, we are focusing like an AI startup and growth stage company.
Yeah.
Because our main theory is that we want to actually grow with them together. So when their actually business grow, our goal is actually helping them to optimize the workloads so that like they actually use the growth trajectory like is maybe actually go exponential. But then like we try to bend the curve of their infrastructure spending a little bit. So they can actually be more profitable, and then when they grow, like our revenue also grow. So we try to actually offer different solution to attract the AI startup and growth stage company. And typically like if they just need some GPU to develop the model or do some like development work, they could actually use our GPU instance of a GPU pod. When it actually comes to actually training, we have the full running solution for them to build the training cluster, and it's very efficient. And also, it's very it's a whole like a modern software stack that is relative to easy to use. When it comes to like deploying their model, we actually can help them to be able to deploy the model efficiently across cloud. We also work closely with them to optimize the workload so it actually runs more efficiently.
Okay. There been anything that's been like, oh man, I should have done it this way, or I should have done it that way, that you've built regarding what you've built in the last year?
I'm not going to talk about like very concrete feature, but the rule of thumb. I think the rule of thumb is actually more important and more valuable to many people actually in the startup space. When I was at Facebook, I always heard like a lot of different slogans, like move fast. One of them, every time when we were doing prioritization, was ruthless prioritization. I thought I understand that, but only when I started working on my startup, I realized like my understanding of that slogan was really like at shadow level when I was at Facebook.
I feel
I feel like if you are building a startup, you need to actually make sure that the feature you're building is what the customer is willing to pay.
Yeah.
Like the rule of thumb is that if you're building a feature that no one wants to pay, or if you find it's challenging to convince people to pay, that's a wrong feature. You should cut it and only focusing on like paying customer, like the ask from them.
Totally agree. Yeah. Okay. Who's the worst neocloud?
The worst neocloud? Can I actually skip this question?
You can skip it. No, I'm just. Okay.
It's every new cloud is different, and I feel like the overall GPU, maybe it's related to the distribution channel, like how NVIDIA decided to sell the GPU.
Yeah.
But overall, like each new cloud is different. Especially for those who have been survived for a while.
Yeah.
They probably figure out their product market fit and how to actually survive in this very fragmented but also very competitive market.
Okay. What is your revenue now? You guys have been around for a little over a year. What have you done this year?
Yeah, so our monthly revenue is about 600K. So our AR, adjusted ARR is about 7.2 million or 7.5 million right now.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, you're more than ready to raise another Series A if you want.
Yeah, our goal is when we're talking to VC, like our goal, like I always tell them, like, hey, like explain like why I need to raise the capital.
Yeah.
And also tell them like our goal is always generate revenue so that our ARR can beat the new round of money we raised.
Yeah.
So like for instance, if we raise like 10 mil in the next round, our goal is like within 6 months or 12 months, our ARR should pass like 10 mil.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. What's your like range for profit margins?
So right now, like our business model is mainly like the PaaS, platform as a service, where we sell both our software and the hardware. And for that, like our profit margin is like between 10% to 30%.
Okay.
Yeah. It's probably half of the SaaS business. I think for SaaS company, like your profit margin, especially gross margin, should probably be like 60 to 80%. That's why like our long-term goal and our vision is like building a software company.
Do you own data centers right now?
No, we cannot. I mean, 3.5 million. Like
that's not enough to buy a data center. Yeah, okay. I was like, okay.
We don't even own GPU. We mainly like rent the GPU from the vendor.
Okay. So we'll go back to one of the questions I asked earlier about like competing with like maybe like AWS. But what about like competing with the other neoclouds? Like how do you stand out from the other neoclouds?
Yeah, it's different business model. We are actually a software company.
Yeah.
So we don't actually consider ourselves as a neocloud.
Okay, you don't consider yourself as a neocloud.
We don't consider ourselves as a neocloud. We consider us as a software vendor that allow people to do efficient machine learning at a multi-cloud environment, multi-cloud and multi-silicon. We haven't like touched the multi-silicon part.
Sure.
I think like there's we briefly touched that at the beginning.
Right.
So right now like we don't actually own any of the hardware.
Yeah.
But if the business goes well and we do actually consider to build a hybrid cluster that have not only like hybrid cluster means like we have different type of GPU from the same vendor or maybe like NVIDIA or from like a mixed cluster, like some from NVIDIA, some from AMD. Okay. And there's also a whole bunch of AI accelerator companies. Like we do actually plan to work with them to actually deploy some of the nodes in data center. In that case, like we might actually consider to own some of the hardware. But again, like our goal is to actually stay as lean as possible and focusing on the software business. So we are not actually really trying to compete with new clouds. We are more of trying to actually build the software on top of the neo cloud.
Sure. But when it comes to like buying GPU compute, like
we can buy it from neo cloud as well.
Oh, you can buy GPU from
and then we can use them, right?
Oh,
it's the same, and we can actually maybe.
Oh, you can like bulk buy and then sell.
We can directly work with the data center vendor, or we can actually work with neo clouds if neo clouds give us a better deal. Like we are flexible to maybe sign a long-term contract, and then offer the different flexible plan to our customer. But the value we think the value we provide, the core value that we provide for the customer, is not the access to the affordable machine, although that's actually very important. The value proposition we try to provide is the efficient software that allow you to actually squeeze your hardware and get the most of it, and then be able to help you to deploy your application cross cloud, cross silicon.
Yeah. Okay. How do you avoid becoming a kernel consulting company?
Because a consulting business is actually not scalable,
Yeah.
and while like a software business is scalable.
Yeah.
So when we were actually prioritizing our roadmap, like we want to make sure that majority of the engineering resources are actually spending on building a very scalable product.
Right.
And then so that actually we won't actually spend majority of time on supporting a very specific needs from the customer.
Right.
So that's actually we were actually trying to make sure in terms of like consulting and the support. I think one thing I want to call out that for every hyperscaler, like they have dedicated support team
Yeah.
for the biggest customer.
Yeah.
So it's not actually really a bad thing
Yeah.
if you do have a enterprise customer
Yeah.
that give you a lot of specific needs, and you actually maybe have a dedicated team with 2 to 3 people
Yeah.
to working on that. The key part is that do not actually get distracted
Yeah.
by that. Like very stay focused actually on the destination you are heading to. Like for us, it's like building a scalable software solution.
Yeah.
And make sure like you actually allocate enough resource to actually work on that.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any tips for new founders, aspiring founders?
So not really tips to them. There's a lot of news about layoff, and
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
recently Amazon also had a big layoff, and Microsoft, and also Facebook.
Yeah.
I would actually encourage many people that if they can, like maybe take this as a good opportunity
Oh, yeah?
to rethink about your career path, and
Yeah.
maybe it's good time for you to explore something to build your own company.
I think
I
that's-
always but some people like they are limited by the immigration status. I totally
yes,
I totally
yes.
understand that. But I always think like when the whole industry is experiencing a very disruptive change,
Yeah.
I feel like now like with the introduce of AI, the coding agent, many of companies they are converting their OPEX to CAPEX.
Yeah.
I think it's quite challenging for many people.
Yeah.
But I always think like when the industry is going through a multiple cycle of layoff, I feel like after that like the industry will bounce back.
Yeah.
Because many people like they never thought about they needed to either try something different, either
Yeah.
by starting business by their own or join a startup when
Yeah.
they're actually getting paid really well
Yeah.
in this company. So that's why I think in the short term, like it's quite challenging, but in the long term, I think it's good for the industry because now, like those startup or like VC funded company,
Yeah.
you have an advantage to actually really compete with those actually big companies for talents.
Yeah.
And always like after that, like there's also new booming of next generation of IT companies. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Daniel.